again?
I need the max win. Hello, I need the max win.
I'm not on Twitch. This is YouTube.
Hmm?
I'm on stream on YouTube.
What's
I'm gonna change the name, but it's alright. No, that's not. I have like 40 something. Wait, can you hear yourself?
I need the max win.
It's turned down.
I need the max win. I need the max win.
It's behind.
Hmm? The heck? I need the max win. I need the max win. I need the max win. The heck? I need the max win. I need the max win. I need the max win. Hello.
The server has a ton of amazing features, including 8 gyms, a safari, battle towers, tournaments for real-life money, a war zone where legendary and shiny Pokemon have a high chance of spawning, but if you battle other players in the war zone, the winner gets to steal the loser's Pokemon. It also has a Poke Hunt challenge where you have a limited time to catch a specific Pokemon, and if you do that, you get to claim a pretty awesome reward. There is also a Pokemon Hunger Games minigame that is absolutely epic, amazing custom Pokemon textures just like this Galaxy Groudon, and there's much, much more. In these first 100 days, I have 4 specific objectives. The first one is definitely the most challenging and quite nearly impossible, but it is to complete the Generation 1 Pokedex. That means I have to catch 151 Pokemon, including all of the legendary Pokemon. The next challenge is to beat the very first gym on the server, which is a flying type gym. The third objective that I have is to catch a legendary Pokemon. Now, if I do complete the first generation Pokedex, that will inevitably happen, but I at least want to be able to catch 1 legendary. And my final objective is to complete a Poke Hunt. Now, I know that one sounds kind of easy, but I feel like I need one relatively easy objective on this list so that this video isn't a complete fail. These challenges will be incredibly difficult, especially completing Generation 1 and catching a legendary Pokemon. I'm not looking forward to it. But if you guys do want to join me on the server, the IP and a tutorial on how to install Pixelmon will be linked in the description down below. Before this video starts, I would just like to say that this video took me an incredible amount of time to make. So if you guys do enjoy, please do me a favor and leave a like and subscribe. I would really, really appreciate it. Anyway, guys, let's start our journey. So, just like any Pokemon game, Pixelmon forces you to make the most difficult selection of your life to start your adventure. You get to choose any of the starter Pokemon from any of the 8 generations. Now, looking back on it, it probably would have been smartest for me to take a Generation 1 Pokemon, but I have to go with the love of my life, Mudkip. So, this is where you spawn on the Poke Smash server, and I actually ran into someone pretty famous to start off my adventure. Yeah, I found Technoblade within about 5 seconds. I thought it would be a good idea to fight the first person I saw and make them my rival, but the problem is, well, Technoblade is pretty good at not only Minecraft, but apparently Pokemon as well. And yeah, he killed me in 1 hit. Sad, sad times. So because my Pokemon died, I went to /warp-heal, and that is the, well, I guess a free way, an easy way to heal your Pokemon. And so now, Mudkip is back up to full health and ready to battle. The first thing that I love to do whenever starting a series on this network is to jump straight down from spawn, because when you do that, you'll come across a bunch of these level 1 Pokemon, which are actually perfect to train your starter with, because your starter is only level 5, and so battling these level 1 Pokemon is relatively easy, and it gives you very good experience. And not too much later, I was able to actually get my Mudkip up to level 16. Which means that he evolves. He evolves into a Marshtomp. Unfortunately, the view of the evolution was pretty blocked by my ginormous legs. I know I'm pretty thick. But nonetheless, I was still pretty excited to get my first evolution on this 100-day challenge. Someone gave me a Team Rocket chest plate, and I was naked this whole time, so I guess I'm joining Team Rocket now. Before we venture out into the wild, a really good thing to do is vote for the server, because if you do that, you actually get vote crate keys, which will allow you to get free Pokeballs, free rare candies, and a bunch of free loot that is really helpful in starting off an adventure. If you do the /warp-crates command, it takes you right to where the crates are, and the vote crate key is right on the left. So in our first crate key, we actually managed to get ourselves a random Pokemon. This was really good for me because it got me a Mudsdale that was level 36, which is a really high level to start off an adventure with. And this is going to allow me to not only eliminate higher level Pokemon, but it's also going to let me catch higher level Pokemon as well, because with this Mudsdale, I will now be able to damage those Pokemon, which will allow me to catch them easier. And then I also got 10 Ultra Balls, which comes in very, very handy later on in the series. And then I got rare candies, 10 more Ultra Balls, more rare candies, and lastly, I got 10 Timer Balls. Now that we have a level 16 Marshtomp and a 36 Mudsdale, it's time for us to explore the wild. And the first thing I came across was a little tiny cute home, but as I went around back, I noticed that it was on fire. The first thing I did on my adventure was a pretty good community, you know, just a good thing, you know? I feel like if I were to start off my adventure as a nice guy, you know, good karma will come my way. So the first thing I wanted to do in this adventure was start my house, because it's always nice to, you know, have a home that you can always come back to. But unfortunately, I am extraordinarily picky, and I didn't end up building my house for a while because I really wanted to find, you know, a terrain that I wanted to build on. Oh, and this is actually really rare. So early on in our adventure, we actually found a grotto which has a Master Ball loot inside. Now, there's random loot scattered around the world of Pixelmon. Some are Pokeballs, some are Ultra Balls, some are Master Balls. But that doesn't mean that they drop that respective Pokeball. They actually drop normally a random held item. And I noticed that there was actually a Weedle right next to me as well. So I decided that it would be a good idea to catch him, as he is, you know, a Generation 1 Pokemon. And that is one of my goals. So I figured might as well start early rather than late. For some reason, it did take a really long time to catch him. But in the end, we did manage to catch the level 2 Weedle. And shortly after that, we managed to catch ourselves an Oddish. And then I caught my least favorite Pokemon of all time, a Rattata. Ooh, I found another grotto. Choice specs, let's go. This is what's called an apricorn field. You use apricorns in order to craft Pokeballs. When the apricorn is fully grown, like this one right here, you just right click it and you get a black apricorn. Then you smelt it up and combine it with other smelted colors of apricorns in order to get lids of Pokeballs. Then you also have to craft the bottom of the Pokeball by using iron and also get a button. And after you combine all 3 of them up, you then get a Pokeball. Normally, I don't like catching Zubats because they kind of stink, but with this objective in hand, I'm gonna have to catch every single Pokemon in Generation 1, even if I don't like them. After I caught the Zubat, I had to take a dump, and that took up a couple days. I went back to spawn to check out a few things, and I realized that there's actually a /GTS command. This is where all the players on the server will actually list Pokemon that they have for a certain price. For example, someone is selling this Bagon for $70,000. It does have perfect IVs and a perfect nature though. That's why it's so expensive. Someone is selling a shiny, almost perfect IV Rayquaza for $200,000. That's a crap ton of money. Right now, I only have $100. There's a hologram here that says if you type in /smashme, which we won't really talk about, I'm pretty sure the full command is /smashmenu, which, yeah, that's what we'll type in because we're a little bit more appropriate here. This actually shows you how to claim blocks, some useful commands, economy info, how to train your Pokemon, warps, vote, gyms, which is actually something that we need to accomplish today, well, in today's video at least, the War Zone, which is something else I'd like to check out, ranks, and party stats. If we go ahead and select on gyms, you'll see that the very first gym is a flying gym, and then there's a ground gym, a fairy gym, a normal gym, an electric gym, a dragon gym, a fire gym, a poison gym, and that's it. That's all the gyms. They all seem to be closed at the moment, but once the flying gym is open, I will be sure to try to challenge it. Anyway, guys, I think it's time that we build our first house. Ideally, I want to find a plains area because that to me is just the most fun to build in. Oh my god, we actually just found a ginormous bear. This Ursaring is level 59, which is a very, very high level to find a wild Pokemon. I'm gonna leave him alone or else he's literally going to destroy my whole team. Oh, a Geodude. He can be added to my collection. And boom, there we go. We've captured a Geodude. And there we go. We caught him a chop. Now, one really cool thing about Pixelmon is they actually have really ultra rare Pokemon that spawn, but they're invisible. And you can find them by seeing these particles on the ground. Sometimes they're actually double battles. So if I walk through here, you'll see that, boom, it puts me into a double battle with 2 Torkoals that are very, very high leveled. One's level 46 and the other is 53. Neither of these are Generation 1 Pokemon though, so I'm just gonna go ahead and try to escape if they'll let me. Boom, we caught a Hitmonlee. I just realized that one of my objectives is to catch as many Generation 1 Pokemon as possible, and I started with a Generation 3 Pokemon. So that was pretty dumb of me. Finding those first 3 starters is, definitely going to be pretty challenging. Oh, and I just found a Tauros, who is actually a pretty challenging Pokemon to catch. So what we're going to do is actually take out our Hitmonlee and see if he can do some good damage to it with any of his fighting moves. Boom, we captured Tauros. Boom, we captured Nidoran, Kakuna, Dugtrio, Graveler, Cubone, Ooh, and then I came across a village. Oh, and I found my first trainer. And he actually ran to his mom because he knew that I was about to whoop his butt. But unfortunately, there's nowhere for him to run when I break down the entire building. So, little man, it is time to face your fate. And without much time, I managed to absolutely destroy this puny little trainer. I wanted to feel a little bit more of a personal connection with my Pokemon, so I decided to nickname all of them. And there we go. Now they're all nicknamed. I caught a couple more Pokemon. Ekans, Raticate, Diglett, Ghastly. I decided to destroy a village and strip it of all of its courts. Even though I know that this is really frowned upon to do, I want to make sure that the house that I build is a really nice looking house. After I mined out all the quartz, it was time to mine out all of the wood as well. This Pokemon is getting absolutely destroyed. Miltank. After the start of building my house, I realized that there were a couple blocks that I didn't have that I wanted. Those were terracotta blocks, and the way to find them is to actually find a mesa. And in the mesa, there's a lot of very rare Pokemon that spawn. So my next mission is to go and find a mesa and gather some of those blocks. So my best bet was actually to ask the people that were on the server if they knew where a mesa was. Turns out, Zoomin LP seems to know. And boom, there we go. I now have a mesa, and this dude's got a ginormous base. Check this out. Wow, this is incredible. So these areas that you see here are actually breeding areas. These are called ranch blocks, and the reason that he has glass and iron on the floor here is because whatever Pokemon he's breeding in here are most comfortable with glass and iron as their environment. Same thing with here. This is Endstone, so most likely the Pokemon that he's breeding in this area are dragons. I don't know if that's something that I'm gonna end up doing in my 100 days, because that is something a little bit further down the line. But if you guys do like this episode, be sure to first of all smash that like button and let me know if you want to see another 100 days. But anyway, this is exactly the block that I wanted to mine for the outside of my house. So let me go ahead and gather up a ton of this. Whoa, look, someone in chat actually just called a Zapdos. It only has 56% IVs, probably the worst IVs I've ever seen on a legendary Pokemon, which is why someone actually put F in chat. But it's still pretty epic that he called himself a Zapdos. So the way that you catch those 3 legendary birds, that is Zapdos, Articuno, and Moltres, you have to... Oh no, my pickaxe broke. Gosh dang it. Well, anyway, to catch those 3 birds, you actually have to get a legendary orb and then combine it with either a Firestone, a Thunderstone, or a Waterstone. And after you've done that relative one, you then have to eliminate, I think, like, I don't know, 350 Pokemon or so. And as you eliminate those Pokemon, the souls of those Pokemon go into the orb. And when the orb is completely full, after you've killed, I think, around 350 Pokemon, then you can find their shrine, which is actually at spawn, and summon that Pokemon. And I know that sounds really difficult to get, but you can actually get legendary orbs, I believe, from the vote crates. So Zapdos, Articuno, and Moltres are the 3 most captured legendaries on the server. And that's something that I think I actually want to do in this episode, in this 100-day challenge, is to catch at least one of those 3 birds. Now, I know that they're all Generation 1, so one of my goals is to complete the Generation 1 Pokedex, but honestly, guys, there's no way that I complete the entire Pokedex in this 100-day challenge. I think I'm gonna get really close, but to get all the legendaries is gonna be incredibly difficult. One thing that's really important to know about Pixelmon is that almost every single Pokemon has a respective biome that they spawn in, which means that in order for me to complete the Pokedex, I'm going to find almost every single biome. And so right now I am in a mesa, and this is like one of the only times that I guess I'll find a Sandshrew. I think that they actually also spawn in the desert, so maybe this isn't the best example, but there are some Pokemon that exclusively spawn in the mesa, and also, like, let's say some ice biomes as well, which are usually pretty difficult to find. But my point is, it's easy to catch a lot of the Generation 1 Pokemons to start, but as you narrow down towards, like, the end of your adventure of catching those Generation 1 Pokemon, it gets really difficult to find the specific biome, the specific time of the day, and actually to get those Pokemon to spawn. But anyway, guys, I think for now, we should have enough terracotta. We have almost 4 stacks. Let's get the 4 stacks here, and then we can go ahead and complete our house. All right, guys, so I know that I said I'm not a great builder, but I worked really, really hard on this house, and I have to say, I am not surprised at all. This house came out absolutely terribly, and I'm very sorry for everybody that is still watching this video, because you were about to see an abysmal house. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, rip it off like a band-aid, and oh my god. What is this? My gosh, man. Guys, I'm not gonna lie, this is disgusting, and I will move out of this house. And I didn't even get to finish the top of the house because I ran out of quartz, and it's not good. I made all my quartz into stairs, which was not a good investment because now I have no more quartz to finish the top. Not good at all. Well, anyway, it doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter. This doesn't matter because Pixelmon and catching Pokemon is the most important part of this adventure, okay? It's not about how well I can build. That's not what it's about. I think what I'm gonna do for my next house though, which I probably will build pretty soon because this is a disgrace and I don't feel comfortable living here. It actually gives me the creeps. I don't want to walk in this house. I feel like something bad is gonna happen while I'm in here. But anyway, for my next build, which will hopefully be better because I haven't really planned it out, but I've at least thought about it. I'm going to make a Pokeball that's like halfway in the ground. So it's gonna be like a circle, and then, you know, it's gonna be the top half is gonna be red. And then when you walk in, there's gonna be like a glass layer, but then underneath, it's gonna look like it goes down like a Pokeball. So you're walking into a Pokeball. I don't know. I think it could look pretty cool, but knowing my building skills, it's gonna look terrible. Oh, there's a boss Pokemon right here. This is something that I completely forgot to mention because they're pretty rare to find. As you can see, the center is green. And it says boss uncommon. Now, there are a bunch of different tiers of bosses. Uncommon is the most common of the bosses. There's green, there's red, there's yellow, there's orange? I don't even know if orange spawns. I'm pretty sure orange is like legendary. The way that the level works is it takes the highest level in your party and it adds whatever amount the rarity is. So an uncommon boss takes your highest level in your party and adds 5. So as you can see, I have Stallion, who is level 37. And since this is an uncommon boss, it adds 5, and now it's level 42. And basically what these bosses do is they drop some item. A Destiny Nut! That's actually really good! Destiny Nuts are really good for breeding. There are actually boss towers that you can find in the wild. I've yet to find one, but those boss towers, they do what they say. They spawn a bunch of bosses, and that's a pretty good way to farm up some really good items. And I actually forgot to set my home here, so if I type in /set home, boom, I now have a home. So now if I type /home, boom, it takes me right to my home. So now I can go as far off as I want and always be able to come back to the home. Let me grab all my Pokeballs that I have and we can move out. I did actually see a Ponyta right here and a Meowth. So that's 2 more Pokemon and a Rapidash. That's 3 more Pokemon that we can add to our collection. And there we go. We just caught our Ponyta. Now for the Meowth. Boom. Meowth captured. Boom. We got him on our second try. Let's go. Now what we can do is actually put him in our team. Look at our PC. It's actually filling up really nicely now. Let's get rid of this Rattata. We don't need him anymore. And there's actually a Voltorb here as well. This is like the perfect area for catching Pokemon that are Generation 1. This is great. And boom, now we call a Voltorb. Okay, so one thing that's on my list to do is do a Poke Hunt. This is something that I've never done before, and I'm really excited to try. It's actually, wait, is it /Poke Hunt? I think if I just type in /Poke Hunt, boom. So this is my hunt. I have to catch a Dragonair, which I can tell you is going to be pretty much impossible to catch, an Alcremie, a Clamperl, a Passimian. Guys, I'm not, okay. I don't know what the heck an Alcremie is or a Passimian. Can I get different Pokemon? This is not good. Whoa, if you actually catch it, it tells you how much money you get. So if I catch this guy, I get $3,055. What? That is outrageous. And 19 Pokeballs and 15 rare candies. That is insane. Any Pokemon that is on this list will receive an IV boost when caught. It is also temporarily marked in the wild with red particles. If it has one of the listed natures, you will get greater rewards and a higher IV boost. That is absolutely amazing. All right, so my next goal is to catch a Dragonair because it is Generation 1, which helps my cause, and also it gets me a lot of money and more Pokeballs and rare candy, so I'm definitely gonna go for that. Now, one thing I have to keep in mind is I'm getting pretty low on Pokeballs, so okay, there's a couple things I can do here. One, I can start a farm, an apricorn farm, and make my own Pokeballs. Or 2, I can buy Pokeballs. Or 3, I can actually vote some more on the voting links in order to get vote crate keys, which will allow me to actually get some more Pokeballs. So there's actually a multitude of ways of actually getting more Pokeballs. I'm just gonna have to figure